For today's presentation, I'd like to begin with a quick overview of the point of sale enhancement. I want to be able to talk about who can actually benefit from point of sale, touch a little bit on client pain points, and I say a little bit because I know the list could run very long. I will go through the enhanced performance, demonstrate a little bit about the gift card expansion pack, which is an add-on to the point of sale system. Then I will proceed with the actual software presentation. At the end, I'd like to show you our current hardware list and the additional SWK enhancements that we are also offering. At the very end of the presentation, I will put up a contact information slide because other than myself, we also have Stella Shamas, who deals with maintenance and support, and Helene Thurston, who is the Director of Channel Sales. So before I really get into this, I want to tell you a true story. During the Christmas season, I'm sure we've all been where those electronic chain stores have a really nice offer and people are waiting in line for hours. There was a long line, needless to say, this Christmas at the store that I went to get my iPhone. And as we were in line, there was now I'm only 5 feet tall. It was a gentleman that was shorter than me, okay, an old man. And he's trying to get to the front of the line, and people are pushing him back and saying, hey, go to the back of the line. You know, it was a long line. And the poor guy kept trying to come back. And the very last time I was at the end of the line, he comes back to me and he says, I'm done. If they don't let me get to the front of the line, I'm not going to open the store. True story. The guy was actually the manager trying to get in and open the store for us. So just keep that in mind the next time you're in line and you don't want to let anybody in front of you, like I did. Okay, now let's talk about seriously point of sale, how the SWK point of sale stands out from all the other systems. Because I know there's a lot of options out there for you. Not only is SWK's point of sale designed to integrate seamlessly with Sage 100 ERP, specifically to streamline your accounting process, front end and back, but, and here's the thing, it does not require Visual Integrator like other packages do. And it does not require the Visual Integrator in order to process transactions at the register and communicate back to Sage 100 ERP or vice versa. Point of Sale Professional includes support for credit card processing through Sage Payment Solutions. You get simple and secure, and I underline secure, credit card transactions for multiple cards, and that's multiple card types per customer, all through a single trusted provider. With support for Sage Payment Processing, Point of Sale Professional will automatically connect sales orders, sales order invoices, and accounts receivable cash receipts with credit card authorizations and settlements. It's designed to handle the fast-paced need of a retail environment. SWK's point of sale will allow you to manage all of your store locations, improve your customer service, and access important financial information at any moment. All receipts, labels, and reports are crystal report-based, giving you the ability to personalize and enhance printed receipts and reports. You can include your logo, you can customize them at will. And I kind of made fun of these pictures when I was putting them on the slides because you could see the 1900s register with the weird receipts that you had to actually almost write up, and then you can see what point of sale can do for you. Everything is pretty much electronic. The gift card expansion pack, I mentioned to you, it's an add-on to the SWK point of sale. It enables your business to make use of custom gift cards. You can track the initial sale, value redeemed, value added, and current balance of each card, as well as all transactional history. And not only that, but with point of sale, with SWK's point of sale, you can use the latest industry standard hardware for your retail business. Point of sale supports cash drawers, receipt printers, magnetic striped credit card readers, pin pads, check readers, barcode scanners, poll displays, and scannable ID cards. and I'm only mentioning a few items. Who can benefit from point of sale? Point of sale professional will help any retail business gain control of the retail operation by tying the back-end accounting software and the over-the-counter sales operations. We've attached point of sale professionals to Sage's 100 inventory management, accounts receivable, sales order, and bank reconciliation modules to offer ease of use, full security, of course inventory management, extensive sales analysis and financial reporting, as well as multi-user, multi-store capabilities. Multiple transactions include orders, quotes, sales, returns, and again, I'm only mentioning a few. But as you can see, most retail businesses, stores, video rentals, garden centers can benefit from this enhancement. The pain point. When it comes to inventory, who hasn't run into an undetected sudden shrink? With point of sale, your sudden shrink no longer goes undetected. Point of sale was designed to immediately record any and all sales. Not only does that mean timely and accurate sales tracking, but point of sale also lets you readily identify inventory levels, particularly when what you have on the books doesn't jive with actual stock. Now, pricing not consistent in different locations. I can see that happening with a system that's not connected. Nothing, and I'm sure everyone will agree, nothing can prove more embarrassing than having a customer question why one item has one price at one store, but yet a different price at another. If your business operates at more than one location, a point of sale system ensures pricing consistency. Even better, SWK's point of sale system automates overall inventory control, helping to keep stocks in proper balance depending on demand and other factors, which can vary from one location to the next. How about the long process with entering data? Here's a good example. So step one, some people take orders on the phone, right? So you take the order on the phone, type it into Sage 100. Step two, you invoice it and wait for the client to pay. Step three, finally you get the payment, right? Go back to your desk and process the payment. You get the point. There's a lot of steps involved here. With point of sale from SWK, you get many tools in a single package, single location. Everything can be processed at the cash register. You don't have to run back and forth and search in different areas. Managers tend to lose control if they're not connected to the cashiers at all times, almost by the hip. Point of sale lets you have that important level of control. When your managers are not there, they can actually view the activity through active cash drawer inquiry, and they can see what's going on at every location with every cashier. One of the biggest headaches that I've heard from our users is that they're unable to manage discounts. A common landmine for many small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, is definitely price reduction. SWK's point of sale will help you keep track of which items have been discounted and will record those discounts accordingly, rather than wrestling with cash register receipts at the end of the day. I'm sure we've all gone through that. Unable to update without asking everybody to exit the system, now that is just a headache in itself. With Point of Sale Professional, you have the ability to update by cash drawer. So that means a cashier is leaving, you take their cash drawer and you update just that one cash drawer. I mentioned the integration with gift cards. The gift card expansion pack enables the business to make custom gift cards. It does require the point of sale module. It also helps track the initial sale, the value redeemed, value added, current balance for each card, as well as the transaction history. Gift card numbers can be encoded into MacStripe, barcode, or simply printed as text on the card. That's pretty nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility. You have more choices. You know, I was thinking of telling everyone another joke, but everyone already, we had this poll, and everyone already asked me not to give out any more jokes, so fine. Enhanced performance. Point of Sale Professional gives you the ability to update by cash drawer because we separated the cash drawer from the cash register. They're completely separate entities. So once again, there's no need to have your system shut down in order to update. I have to reiterate a lot of the points that the point of sale system has because I think that's what differentiates our point of sale software from everybody else. The full integration with accounts receivable, for example. Your clients can pay any outstanding invoice through point of sale. I'm sure it'll be nice for anybody to accept a customer payment when they pay you, and you don't have to run back and forth. The integration with sales order, for example, allows you to commit inventory to a sales order and then complete the sales transaction in Point of Sale Professional. Again, you don't have to jump back and forth. You can all do it at the register. I also mentioned that a manager is able to analyze current cash drawer activity. So if you need to see how much money is in the cash drawer or how many transactions your cashiers have been processing throughout the day, the manager will have access to that information even while the cashier is logged in, even while the cashier has not updated. You're able to track over shortage by cashier too. So again, you don't have to wait for anything to close or update. You have information available at that very moment, on the spot. As I mentioned before, point of sale supports touchscreens, pull displays, etc., etc. And I'll show you the hardware list at the end of our presentation. So let's talk a little bit about the gift card expansion pack. It's a separate enhancement. It requires point of sale, but it comes in very handy because the benefits it gives you, for example, are no monthly or annual swiping fees, no extra hardware is required, no third-party vendors, no external database to manage gift card balances, and no forced gift card format. You can create them as you like them. So say, for example, you decide you want a magnetic stripe. The gift card information is encoded in a magnetic stripe on the back of the gift card. Say, for example, you decide to go with barcode. The gift card information is in a barcode format that will be scanned into the system. And I have a couple of samples up there for you. And you simply want to use text. So the gift card information is in a text format now. When using the text option, the Allow Manual Entry option is selected automatically. So there's a lot of advantages there. Again, you have much more flexibility. Now let's go straight into the presentation. As you can see, Point of Sale Professional will show up in your your Sage 100 ERP menu as any other standard Sage 100 module. The reason behind that is the extensive integration. Point of Sale was formatted and structured with actual Sage 100 ERP data. I'm going to begin by going through briefly the registration process. When you initially install Point of Sale Professional, we have a module that's called Library Master Extensions that will also show up in your Sage 100 menu. The Library Master Extensions serve for a couple different things. One, which would be the most important, is the actual enhancement registration. This is where you would type in the keys for point of sale. Point of sale requires register licenses per cash register. We include one cash register license with the initial purchase, and this is where you would be able to register the different. Actually, I'll just show you really quick. This is where you would be able to register the different enhancements from SWK and also see the number of registered licenses that you own. The other thing that the Library Master Extensions offers is the spell check. This is at no additional fee to you, and it will work throughout your Sage 100 system. So you may as well take advantage of it. Before I go into the point of sale setup, I also want to point out that when you install point of sale, if you go to Help, Enhancement Manual, we also provided a mini manual for version 4.5. You have access to it, so please feel free to use it at your convenience. Okay, I'm going to jump right into the point of sale professional options. One of the things that I like to mention with regards to point of sale is that it will not make your business process change, yet the other way around. You can customize point of sale professional at will. The flexibility that you will notice is immense when it comes not only to the functionality, but the security levels as well. As you can see, I have options as far as what modules I can integrate with. For my presentation, I chose all of these modules. I also have the option to include credit card processing or not. If I'm integrated to accounts receivable, you can see that I have options as far as updating my monthly cash receipts. It can either be by customer payments, all transactions, or none. I decide if I'd like to keep track of the customer's last purchase. When it comes to updating cashier statistics, you also have the option. And if you decide to use layaway with point of sale, you decide how many days you'd like to retain the completed layaways. I can choose my fiscal year and my current period. I'm setting up a default opening cash, but this can be overwritten in the different areas in point of sale. I'll point them out as we go along. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at $50. And you can see I can set up my next cash drawer and transaction number. I've enabled credit card processing. The integration to General Ledger gives me the option to allow point of sale entry of miscellaneous charges or special items. My default General Ledger accounts, you can see I have the different options depending on special items, cost of goods, purchases. And then I decide whether I want to post to General Ledger sales journal in detail or item costs. Point of sale entry, this is just additional security that I can set up through point of sale for my cashiers or for the point of sale entry screen. I decide if I'd like to display item costs and line items in detail, require reasons for voids or return. In the point of sale entry screen, do I want to display the cashier or salesperson's name? Because I'm integrated with bank reconciliation. Do I want to deposit by payment type? My active receipt gives me the option to double size the font, make it bold. I can decide if at the point of sale entry screen I want to leave the last transaction on the screen or get rid of it. What would I like to display when I scan an item or type in an item? You have the different options as well. I'm going to go ahead with description and item number. And then as far as printing, you decide if you'd like to print a sales journal by cash drawer. And you can see the different options that I have here. I'm not going to read through them, but you can see the flexibility. Now let's go to location maintenance. By location, now point of sale is giving you additional security levels and additional functionality. For this particular location, I can choose my bank code, tax schedule, ship method. I could marry this location to a specific warehouse, price level. I decide if I wanted the item pricing to be retail or standard. And this is the key. I can limit transactions to one specific warehouse or not. If I uncheck this, basically what will happen is that my cashiers will be able to view all of the different warehouses. It could be an advantage if you run out of inventory in one location and you can sell it from another warehouse. In customer transactions, should I use the standard price or not? Again, the integration with General Ledger will allow me to choose my source, journal, freight account, sales tax account, etc. And you can see the information as far as warehousing, segment value, and additional substitute warehouse segment in different criteria. Now, by location, point of sale entry is also allowing for additional security. Do I want to allow layaways at all at this location? Do I want to allow the cashier to change during entry or not? I mentioned to you at the beginning that we can change the default opening cash, not only at the point of sale options, but by location and by transaction type. So the integration with accounts receivable will allow me to use sales tax schedules from customer. If a customer is over the credit limit, what would I like my cashiers to do? What do I want to give them permission to do? With inventory, do you want to allow to check quantity on hand during entry? How about selling below item cost? You decide. And then you decide if you'd like to allow for back orders. So this is something that will allow you to set up the different forms by location. Now, what's best to do when you upgrade or when you install version 4.5, make sure you clear all the forms out, and then you do a lookup and choose the form. That way you're going to be sure that each form is connected to the different transaction code type and description. If you have questions about this, please let me know. Now, once we went through location maintenance, let's go to register maintenance. And forgive me for skipping around, but there's limited time, and I want to touch upon the most important features right now. With register maintenance, you can see that you could marry this register to a specific location or department number. It is required, please make a note of this, it's definitely required that you choose a transaction code and a payment type. Otherwise, you're going to get an error message. And you can see that for this particular case, I chose sale, but you can choose the different transaction types or add them. Same thing applies with the payment type. And it's just the default payment type. Your devices, I mentioned that we allow the use of poll displays. Product scale, that's something that I didn't mention during our PowerPoint, but you can see that point of sale also allows for that. And then, of course, the touch screen. I'm going to show you the different screens. Well, it's the same screen, but the different sizes, if you do decide to use a touch screen. And you have options for first and second cash drawer. Make sure that when you set up the printers for this register, you select, if you select print, make sure you add a printer, otherwise it's going to error out. We've had a lot of reports of that where you choose print but you forget to add the printer. Or you can always set up the PDF as well. Or choose check off prompt, and when asked to print, just say no so that it doesn't error out. Let's go to cashier's maintenance now. Again, the level of security is expanded now through a cashier. For example, Jane, you have to set Jane up with a MAS90 user and a password. Marry this cashier to a specific location. You decide whether or not you want the cashier to be a manager. And then do you want to tie them with a salesperson? That can be done as well. Notice with point of sale entry how many more options you have as far as security. And I'm not going to read through every single one of them, but as you can see, there's many limitations that you can set by cashier. Whether or not they open and close the cash drawer without a transaction, whether you decide to let them suspend transactions, void them if you require a reason, override an item price, et cetera, et cetera. As far as transaction history access, because of the integration with accounts receivable, you want to make sure you specifically decide by cashier what access you'd like to give them. Notice how with customer data access you have all of these options. And do you want them to add customers on the fly? You can see with history, you're able to view different years of history. If you go to summary, you can check by transaction type and the different years as well. And then if you go to detail, you'll be able to see the different cash drawers that this particular cashier has ever worked with and drill down into that cash drawer information. Let's go now to payment type maintenance. Payment type maintenance, and this is just so you can see the different payment types that I have set up in my system. You can see how cash, check, MasterCard, terms, and Visa. I'm going to go ahead and choose check first. And this is standard accounting. You choose your asset account over short. If you go to the default transaction, you can see you have options. By transaction type, notice the additional security that I'm offering through Point of Sale Professional. You decide if I'm receiving a payment with a check, do I want my cashier to open the cash drawer? Why would I? Maybe not. Print a second copy of the receipt or a signature line on the receipt. Allow overpayment. Disable verification. What are the required fields if I accept this type of payment? I want to make sure to get the check number, the driver's license, the name, and you decide. I'm going to jump straight over to a credit card now because I do want to show you, as far as accounting, again, pretty much stays the same. Security, same. But now when you go to credit card, to the credit card tab, notice how I have my fees accrual account, virtual terminal ID. I can include a discount percent per transaction fee, pre-authorization term, allow corporate cards, confirm the last 4 digits, and notice how my payment server settings are here. I have my merchant key, and then you decide what requirements. Show address verification, validate code verification, you decide. You can also use the debit cards, and of course you're able to view history. So now that we've gone through the different setup options, I'm going to skip past the other ones because I want to make sure that we touch upon the entry screen enough. And the way it works is your users do not have to go into Mass 90, your cashiers. You can set up an icon on your desktop, and basically when they click on the icon, they're going to be able to see this login screen. So at this point, they can choose the date, of course, select the cashier. I'm going to select myself. I'm set up as a manager, so I have permission to do things that other cashiers wouldn't be able to. Then I'm going to select the cash drawer. Now remember, we separated the cash drawer from the cash register. So you can set up 20 cash drawers, and then your cashiers can just come in, choose the one that there's available, and continue on to logging in. If you decided to make customer number or to enter a customer as a requirement, the cashier will be forced to enter the customer information before they begin a transaction. Otherwise, they can go straight into a transaction, and you can see I have my different transaction types here. So I'm going to choose a sale. Notice how the transaction number came up on the screen for me. And I'm going to go ahead and choose a customer now, just because I want to choose one. So it's Abert Accounting Services, and you can see it's on top of the screen as well. If I want to go back and click on it, I can still see the information. At this point, your cashier can either scan an item, type in the number, or do an item lookup. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and just show you the item lookup. Now remember, the tight integration with inventory management is giving me access to all of my inventory items. And depending on the security, you decide whether or not you want to give your cashiers access to item maintenance. Notice how I brought up item maintenance, and this is directly from inventory management. If there's any orders, I can view the history. Everything that you have access to, and I hate to repeat it, but I have to. Anything and everything you have access to within inventory management, you will have access at the point of sale depending on the security level. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the inventory item. I have the system set up to default to a quantity of 1. So that means every time I scan an item or enter the item, it'll automatically populate the quantity of 1. I can always change that and say, okay, they decided to take 20 instead. One of the nice features is with the new point of sale is that you have this calculator now available to you. We didn't used to have that in the past. Another nice new feature due to the grid entry is that you can change, just like you do in standard Sage 100, change these fields around at will. I'm just going to put it back for now. And maximize the screen so you could see the flexibility when it comes to touchscreen. One of the biggest complaints I used to hear with the old point of sale system is the fact that everything was so small. When someone was using a touchscreen, they weren't really able to touch on any of the buttons. Well, now you can maximize it and everything becomes larger for you, and it just makes it so much more touchscreen friendly. You also have, coming from standard Sage 100, the ability to remove a row, add a row, move the rows around. You're able to reset rows, etc. Before I continue on with this transaction, let me just show you a little bit about the buttons that are available in the entry screen. You have the discount button. You can see I have AR customer discounts. You can include it by percentage or by a standard quantity. We have the freight. You can see, you can go ahead and include it there, or just have something set up so your cashiers can choose. Sales tax. Notice how you have the information that you need, again, coming straight from Sage 100. Your payment types. I gave myself permission to access all of the different types of payments, and I will go back to this screen, but I wanted you to take a quick peek at it because it does look different from what you're accustomed to if you are a current point of sale professional user. Layaways. This can be grayed out if you don't want to allow layaways at your company at all. You can gray it out. Should you decide to keep it as a layaway, then you can enable the button. If you want to cancel a transaction or accept it. The manager button. This comes in really handy when there's a lot of people in a line and say the cashiers are on break. The manager wants to make sure that everyone is well taken care of, so the manager can always log in and continue processing transactions. Another advantage is that the manager button will show up throughout the system. So if anything, a cashier left, anything is going on that a cashier cannot handle, the manager can always log in and take care of it. One of the features that Point of Sale Professional offers is the ability to require a login per transaction. So this works really well for companies that have multiple cashiers using one cash register. That way, every time a transaction begins, the cashier has to log in, complete the transaction, and on the next transaction, they have to log in again, meaning that you can keep track of every different transaction processed by the different cashiers. You have the ability to suspend the transaction. I know this has happened to every single one of us. You're in line for like an hour, you're finally getting ready to pay, and the person in front of you forgot something. Runs out of there, leaves the transaction halfway through, and the cashier looks at you saying, well, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait for them to come back. We took care of that with the suspend transaction button. All you have to do is click on suspend. The transaction will go away and you can begin your new transaction. There you are. So that's an advantage in itself. You decide if you want to give your cashiers access to customer maintenance once again. And this button really is available even without a transaction being on the screen. So notice this information is coming directly from accounts receivable. I can make changes, edit the address, the phone number, add information, etc. Transaction history inquiry, you'll be able to see the different transactions that are complete. The transaction type, for example, if it's an order, quote, a sale, if it's been completed, void. And you can see if it was a transaction. There's a lot of cash sales where you don't require the customer that have gone through. Notice how you have the export to Excel functionality, of course, coming again from Sage 100. You also have the ability to see completed transactions in your register. So I haven't updated or anything yet, but I want to be able to see what's going on. You can see I have one in layaway and one is suspended. Register payout and register withdrawal. You decide if you'd like to give your cashiers permission to do this. The payout comes in handy, for example, with the UPS guy that comes in and wants a $20, you have to make a $20 COD payment. You're able to keep track of this payment at the register. And again, you decide who to give permission to do this. Register withdrawal. So you had a really good sales day. There's $1 million in this cash drawer, and you want to put it away in the safety deposit box. What you can do is take that money, set it up as a register withdrawal, and it'll come up at the end of the day while you do your reconciliation. You can allow or not to lock the register. This comes in handy when you have a full day at work and you want to be able to take your break, but you don't want to have to take the cash drawer out or whatnot. You just lock the register. And then if you want to give permission to open the cash drawer without a transaction. This button comes in really handy because it's a price lookup. You don't have to actually enter the item into the entry screen. You can actually just go in here and scan it, type it in, and you're able to see the information about that item. So let me add a couple more items here. And we're going to go ahead and accept the payment. Can I not do this right? 1 second. So I'm adding these items. You can see how easy it is to change the quantities. You can also, depending on the permission, change the unit price. Just notice the level of security that we're offering throughout the system. And I'm going to go ahead and accept the payment. This is how easy it is to accept that payment. Say, for example, I'm going to go ahead and accept 56 cents in cash. You can accept multiple payment types per transaction. Before I accept the cash, let me go into the credit card because I'd like to accept the balance afterwards. So with the MasterCard, I have it set up through Sage Payment Solutions right now where you can actually accept the payments, and this is the screen that will come up. At this point, you can either swipe the card or type in the card number. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in the card number. And notice how you have the swipe the card button. Choose the expiration date, and you know what, I think that's it. I'm just going to submit it. Notice how the system is telling me what the required fields are. And this information comes from my setup. This is what I said I wanted my cashiers to enter. So I'm forced to actually fill in the information. And now I'm going to go ahead and, oh, there's a code. I'm going to go ahead and submit my payment. And you can see the transaction ID I can go ahead and void or new. If I have to swipe the card again, I can. And then I can authorize. And once I do that, I can go ahead and print the receipt. And again, remember, you could actually set it up so that you can print signature lines on the receipt or not, print a second copy of the receipt or not. Once you choose the cash drawer reconciliation, you're able to choose any cash drawer that you want and check for variance. You can also set up a cash drawer for the next day, for example. So if you choose the next cash drawer, you can set up the default opening cash for the next day and save the changes. Notice how once I'm going to reconcile a cash drawer, it can no longer be opened. Now, point of sale offers complete crystal capabilities. I know my reports look really plain, but you can customize them at your convenience. You can choose cash drawer by location, and you can see how you can check all or none, uncheck them. And I know my dates are all out of whack, but it's just for this presentation. So it's going to go ahead and process the sales tax, show me a full report of the different states, different sales tax, different transactions. You can see that my payment recap will show up as well. And then you can go ahead and print your gross profit journal. And update. Now notice how I actually updated Jane. And there's a reason behind that. I want to be able to show you in accounts receivable exactly what's been happening while we've been working at the point of sale. So we've been working with ABERT. You can see the invoices and drill down. You'll see that the source journal is coming from point of sale, and it'll show you the transactions. You can drill down the same as you would in accounts receivable. So if there's any transactions that you've processed through point of sale, they will automatically come to your accounts receivable module. And the same thing will apply with inventory management. In inventory management, the inventory is instantly committed. So you don't have to run the risk of someone else selling an item that you've already sold. Notice how it'll say when it was last sold. And you can go into history, transactions, and you're able to view the items that have been sold. One of the things I had mentioned as well, the manager inquiry. This is especially handy for all managers who are not at the stores at all times. They have to be at the back office doing whatever it is that they need to do back there. And they can choose by location, choose a cash drawer, choose a cashier, so they can view any, basically. And they're able to change the cashier's information. They're able to view the cashier activity depending on the cash drawer. So any activity would be there for them. They could view all locations. They could see if there's any cash, too much cash, and put it away. Notice the other options in the inquiry screen. And I do want to make sure, because we're running out of time, that I show you the hardware list as well. And make sure that we talk a little bit about it. I had mentioned the different types of hardware that Point of Sale Professional is compatible with. You can see it on the screen. There are items that we have specifically tested and recommend If you need the item numbers or need additional information, please call or email your Sage reseller or me, and I'll be happy to send you information. The only thing I cannot provide would be pricing, but your reseller is going to be able to give you that. I also want to make sure that you're aware of the other enhancements that SWK offers. As you can see on the screen, we have an apparel matrix, bill of lading, and many other enhancements that will integrate as well with your Sage 100 ERP. One of the other products that SWK offers, and I want to make sure everyone is aware of this, is the EDI solution, MAPADOC. Please be sure to contact me or anyone from my team regarding MAPADOC. We'd be happy to help. MAPADOC is ideal for companies who are about to use EDI for the first time, or for those who want to improve their existing EDI capabilities. Find out from us why resellers and customers love us. Our consulting, our implementation, and ongoing training and support will definitely benefit anyone who is looking into EDI. And what you see on the screen right now is our contact information. Again, I am Patty Benitez, and Helene Thurston, Director of Channel Sales, would be able to help. If anyone needs assistance with unlocking keys, maintenance, or support, please contact Stella Shamas. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any questions online that I could maybe address right now. But I do promise that if I don't get to your question, I will definitely give you a call back as soon as the presentation is over and address your questions. Adrian, do you have any questions there?
I show quite a few questions, Patty. It would take quite a while to answer all these questions, so it's up to you. We can go ahead and announce each one, or we can take them offline.
Yeah, I can take them offline. I was just trying to see if I could see any of them, and I'm not able to, so that I can maybe answer one or two. Since we still have a couple
right down at the bottom of your tray, your webinar pane. But I do have one more poll I would like to launch, if I may, ask the audience while you're looking at that.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll. If you're interested in learning more about SWK's point of sale, please indicate yes and no, obviously, and then possibly in the future. And that's how we will prioritize our follow-up. Patty, you did a great job. Thank you so much. I'm very excited for you.
Thanks, Adrian. I hope this presentation was helpful. I do see a question. Let me know when I can address it.
Oh, you can go ahead and announce the question. We'll just take the poll while you're announcing the question.
Okay. One of the questions, and it's very good, I get asked this a lot. In point of sale, can I take a payment for a sales order created in accounts receivable sales order? The answer is yes, you may. You can actually set up point of sale to pull the sales order screen onto your point of sale entry screen if you prefer to use that. Or just recall the sales order or the quote onto your point of sale entry screen in your standard looking point of sale screen and accept payments. That information will also post back into AR. Oh, that was your second question. That's pretty good. So yes, the answer is definitely yes. Let's see, I'll take another question. One of the questions is, someone wants to know if it's compatible with Sage 100 Premium SQL. It is currently being tested. I will send an announcement the minute our quality assurance department gives me the green light, but so far the answer is I don't know. I have to wait to hear back from them. I will definitely let everybody know. There is also a question in regards to the preferred method of connecting remote locations. We recommend that you use Citrix. We've never run into any issues with Citrix. It works as if very seamlessly. You wouldn't even notice that you're connecting remotely. I do have to mention that although we do not support it, many clients are using terminal services. And the biggest complaint is that it makes printing the receipts considerably slower. but I've not heard anything different or worse than that. One thing, speaking of receipts, is I do want to mention that with point of sale, you can print out a standard type of receipt or print out an invoice type of receipt. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see, on to the next question. I think I could still... Very good question again. In point of sale, when you retrieve a sales order, will sales order details be displayed in point of sale screen? The answer is yes. You will see the information from your sales order exactly the same on the point of sale screen. All of the information will definitely be included. And again, keep in mind, you can see it on the point of sale screen, or you can decide to keep your sales order screen and just bring it up at the point of sale. Some people prefer that because they don't have to retrain their employees. Many people want to know if the presentation is being recorded. The answer is yes. Adrian is a whiz, a star. I wish I knew more words there. But she basically gets everything set up for us where she manipulates the presentation so that none of my errors come up, and you'll be able to see a nice, very professional presentation of the timekeeper without the PowerPoint. So she sends me the PowerPoint and the presentation, and then she separates just the presentation. So yes, thank you for asking. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? And again, I'm sorry if I don't get to your question. I'll definitely give you a call back. Do we have to use Sage Payment Solutions to use the gift card expansion pack? The answer is yes. Currently, Point of Sale Professional integrates only with Sage Payment Solutions, and that is due to PCI compliance. We do not integrate with PC Charge anymore. As of version 4.5, it is a requirement that you move over to Sage Payment Solutions. Second part of this question. Yeah, the second part was actually whether or not the PC Charge would be compatible with the gift card. It will not. And again, I want to reiterate, that is due to PCI compliance. Someone is asking me about the release schedule for Sage 2013, and I do want to let everybody know it's coming soon. Most likely before the end of second quarter. It is currently going through quality assurance, so that's good news. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Once again, I really appreciate the opportunity you're giving us to show you a little bit about our enhancements. I'd love to be able to show you more. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns. My contact information is on the screen.
Thank you, Patty. We do have a poll open right now, so we don't have your contact information as of yet. I see 69% of you voted. So if we could just get a couple more of you to answer this question on the screen, and I will flash back over to Patty's information. Patty, thank you so much again. Very informative. We've got 72% voted. 75. And then I'm going to go ahead and close and share the results. And Patty, it looks like we've got 54% looking to hear back from you. And we just had a tremendous response to this webinar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we will definitely be in touch with you. We did record it, and we will send you both versions of the recording, the short version with just the demonstration and the long version with the PowerPoint as well. And that might take a couple days just to edit the video and so forth for the shorter version. With that said, Patty, did you want to close it with anything?
I just want to once again thank everybody. I do offer one-on-one presentations that will be more specific to your company requirements. So please do not hesitate to contact me. I will be happy to provide you with assistance. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Have a great day. Thank you so much, Patty. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
The organizer has ended.